One of the best black dyes in ESO is actually surprisingly easy to get. Hey everyone, it's Spopes. This is going to be a pretty quick video today, just covering how to get the 10-year anniversary Ebon Leather Dye, a dye that I personally slept on for quite a long time, but it's a great alternative to Void Pitch Black and Coldharbour Ash Gray that's actually surprisingly easy to get. You do need a couple DLCs, you need to do a little bit of legwork, but compared to the other black dyes, it is both blacker and easier to come by. In this video, I'm going to explain what 10-year anniversary Ebon Leather Dye is, how to get it, and I'm also going to compare it to other black dyes in the game. Before we dive in, please make sure you've subscribed to the channel, please like and hype this video, and do consider taking your support a step further by joining us as a member of the Spopes Army, picking up some merch on my Fourth Wall site, or leaving a donation on Fourth Wall or right here on YouTube. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. Let's get into the 10-year anniversary Ebon Leather Dye, what it is, how to get it, and why you should go after it. So the 10-year anniversary Ebon Leather Dye is a dye you get from an achievement. It's located under character, then all the way down to anniversary, and then the achievement is called Commemorative Activity Achiever. We'll cover all the steps you need to do to get the dye in a moment, but we're going to start by just talking about the dye itself. So this is an actually black dye. This is not gray, it's not black, but with weird colors underneath it or anything. It is just pure black. It looks black on every material. It looks black on fabric, it looks black on leather. It even looks black on armor, on metallic surfaces, which is definitely something of a rarity. What I really like about this dye is how easy it is to get, but how black it actually is. As anyone who has messed around with style in ESO knows, dyes rarely look the way they do in their dye stamp. I'm talking about this little square right here that's supposed to give you a preview of the dye, but in reality, that preview really rarely shows what the dye actually looks like. But in this case, the preview looks black and the dye itself looks black. In that way, it's better than the Coldharbour Ash dye, which ends up looking brown or even kind of reddish brown on certain materials and in certain lights. This dye looks black in every lighting, in every environment, and on every texture, and you don't have to give an arm and a leg to get it. So now let's talk about what you need to do to get the 10-year anniversary Ebon Leather Dye. Again, you acquire this dye by getting an achievement called Commemorative Activity Achiever. This came out with the 10th anniversary celebration in ESO a couple years ago, and there are 5 activities you need to complete to get this dye. The first is scrying for and excavating an antiquity. This does require the Greymoor DLC, which is where you get the scrying skill line. To access this skill line, you need to go to Solitude in Western Skyrim. Then you go to this building toward the south of the city called the Antiquarian Circle. It's conveniently marked by an icon that looks just like the scrying icon, so it's pretty easy to find. Once you're there, you talk to Verita Numida in order to start the quest. You do a little bit of legwork, then you've unlocked scrying. In every zone, there are green and blue antiquities you can dig up with very little effort. My recommendation is to go to Artaeum. That's where most people go to level up scrying. To get there, though, you do need to have the Somerset DLC, but really any zone in the game works. Once you're there, simply scry the lead, dig up the antiquity, and you're good to go. For more information on scrying and how to level that skill line, check out the video linked above. So that's the first requirement. You need to scry for and excavate an antiquity. Once you've done that, it's time to move on to crafting a piece of jewelry. Jewelry crafting is part of the Somerset DLC. You do need to have this DLC to access jewelry crafting. Once you have the DLC, go to the city of Alinor and talk to an NPC named Falarian, who is located right outside the main crafting area. If your jewelry crafting level is already at level 10 or above, you can skip the intro quest, then simply go craft a piece of jewelry in the crafting area and you are done. I also have a video on how to unlock jewelry crafting in the game, which is linked above. From there, you need to play a ranked or unranked tribute match against another player. Tales of Tribute is an in-game card game that was released with the High Isle chapter. To access it, you need to have the High Isle DLC. Then you simply go to the city of Gonfalon Bay and over to the Gonfalon Gaming Hall to begin the introductory quest. Once you've done so, Tales of Tribute will become available in the activity finder, and then you simply join a ranked or an unranked game, complete it, and you're done. Now, it is important to mention you do need to actually complete the game. You can't just forfeit. If you do so, you will not get this part of the achievement complete. You don't actually have to participate. You can just skip every turn, but you do have to see the thing through and either win or be defeated. Forfeiting not only does not give you this part of the achievements, but it also puts you in a penalty box where you have to wait like 10 minutes before you can do another game. So my advice is to join a casual game. Just let yourself get beaten, then you'll be one step closer to getting your dye. Next, you need to scribe a skill at a scribing altar. Scribing is technically part of the Gold Road DLC. However, it has been made free as part of the base game, so you no longer have to go to the West Weald to unlock it. To unlock scribing, you simply go to the Crown Store, go to the upgrade section, and claim scribing. You can see right there it says it is free, and claiming this free bundle gives you access to the tutorial quest, The Second Era of Scribing, during which you will scribe a skill at a scribing altar, thus fulfilling that requirement of the achievement. And no, before you ask, I am not a big fan of scribing, so I don't have a video on it. That is actually probably the most I've ever talked about scribing in a video at all. But that's all you really need to know. You get it from the Crown Store, go to the intro quest, and this part of the achievement will be done. Now, lastly, you need to complete an arc in the Infinite Archive, which means getting through all the ad areas and fighting the boss at the end, Thoat Replicanum. Even though it's located in Apocrypha, the Infinite Archive is free for all players. Simply navigate over there, it is in the northwestern section of Apocrypha, and complete the intro quest, which will have you complete an entire arc. Now, the Infinite Archive is a bit challenging, but I do have a build that is specifically designed to tackle the Infinite Archive. It's one of my now 3 Templar builds, and I'm linking it above. Once you finish the first arc, you can just quit, because that 5th and final section of the achievement will now be complete. So that's all you need to know regarding how to get the 10-year anniversary Ebon Leather Dye. But before we finish up the video, I'm going to showcase the dye in a bit more detail, and also compare it to 2 other popular black dyes. So I basically just want to show this dye on multiple different types of surfaces. You see it here mostly on leather and also fabric, but I do also want to show it on this costume, which is basically pure fabric with some filigree. You can't dye that section, but as you can see, even on glossy fabric, it still looks black. It doesn't look blue or red or brown, which is the case for most dyes that look black on some surfaces. They don't look black on others. But as you can see here on pure fabric, the dye still looks black. Then to show what it looks like on metal, I'm going to put on the Fire Drake Heavy Set. So as you can see, even on metallic surfaces, the dye still looks black. This is probably one of the shiniest types of armor in the game, so it does look a little bit lighter than usual, but it doesn't look light purple or light green or whatever. It still looks perfectly black, just a little bit shiny. So there you go. This is a legitimately black dye in ESO. It is not messing with you. There is no trickery afoot. It is black through and through, which is something you can only say for really maybe 2 or 3 dyes in the game. So speaking of comparing ebon leather to other black dyes, there are a couple of other dyes I do want to talk about here. So the first is Coldharbour Ash Black, which I think I referred to incorrectly as Coldharbour Ash Gray earlier in the video. It is called Ash Black. I think I call it gray because it's really not that black in the end. The difference between this dye and the one I'm currently wearing is pretty subtle, but hopefully it'll come through in the video and you'll be able to see what I mean. I'm gonna go ahead and apply this dye to all the channels on my armor. And there you have it. I will forgive you if you say the difference is not noticeable, but to me, it definitely is. If you look closely, you will see this sort of brownish or reddish sheen on many of the surfaces here, even on fabric, but it is even more noticeable on metallic surfaces. I'm not gonna put every piece on there again, but as you can see with just the Fire Drake Heavy Helm, it is not anywhere near as dark black as we have with the ebon leather. Here's a comparison again. Again, the difference might be subtle, but it is noticeable to me. It's not as shiny, and it is a little bit lighter in my opinion. You acquire Coldharbour Ash Black by completing the Coldharbour storyline, so it is quite a bit more difficult to complete, even though this is a base game dye that does not require any DLCs. You do have to complete either the Harbridge questline or your Alliance Zone questline, and then go through the entire Coldharbour questline to get this dye. In that way, for most players, ebon leather will actually be easier to get, and it is, in my opinion, the better dye. Now, something else that people often cite as being the best black dye in the game is Void Pitch, and they may be right. As you can see, I have not unlocked this yet. You get it from Veteran Hollows. So what we're going to do is look at some community pictures provided for this dye, and also talk about how incredibly hard it is to get. So this is what Void Pitch dye looks like. As you can see, it is a very dark black, but it also has kind of a purplish sheen to it. It's honestly not really a true black, because it does have other colors coming through sometimes. Especially in this image, you can see the purple or reddish tint to this dye. And even if it was the best black dye ever, it is absurdly hard to get. Like, not really in terms of difficulty, but just in terms of how long you have to grind to get it. So again, you get this dye from Veteran Hollows through the achievement called Honor to the Spirit Blood. That requires completing 5 other achievements, including Scattered Spirits, which you have to do multiple runs of Attachment Hollows to get. And there's also Seeker of the Hollows, where you have to complete hidden challenges. Firewalker, which is absolutely absurd. You first have to get a brimstone orb and then travel 10 kilometers through lava. I mean, that's a pretty long distance. You can't mount, you just go back and forth. Apparently, you just walk through this one area in circles until you complete it. It has nothing to do with the real gameplay of the game. It's just really repetitive busy work. I don't know why they made it this way. And then Trapped Between Worlds, you have to get this debuff called the Wounding Portal and then survive. And then lastly, High Flyer, where you have to grapple 500 times. Again, just repetitive busy work that really has nothing to do with the gameplay. You can just find two grapple areas that are right next to each other and just go back and forth and back and forth. Even if you do this, it'll take multiple hours just to complete that segment. So especially given the fact that Void Pitch isn't even that black in my opinion, I'd have to stick with my analysis that Ebon Leather is probably the best black dye in the game. It's blacker than Coldharbour Ash Black, it's even blacker than Void Pitch in some cases, and it's definitely easier to get. There is also Legate's Black, which is very black as well. But you have to get to Legate rank on a character in PvP. That is an incredibly high rank, equating to hundreds, if not thousands of hours of PvP gameplay. But at least this one can be considered to be actually black. It's just the amount of effort required to get it is absolutely astronomical. All right, so that does it. I covered what Ebon Leather Black is, how to get it, how it compares to other dyes. I showcased the dye, and that's all I wanted to accomplish in this video. Again, I do think this is the best black dye in the game, partially because it is actually black, and also because it is not absurdly hard to get. You do need to either have ESO Plus or have a few different DLCs to get it, but once you have those prerequisites out of the way, you can bang this out in a few hours tops. Doing an Arc of the Infinite Archive may be the hardest part. The scribing intro quest may take the longest, but otherwise Tales of Tribute, scrying an Antiquity, and crafting a piece of jewelry are not really that time or labor intensive. So in the comments, let me know if you agree that Ebon Leather Black is the best black dye in the game, whether you like other black dyes more, whether you already have this dye or you're planning to get it. Please don't hold back with your thoughts in the comments. And before you go, please remember to support the channel by liking, hyping, subscribing, and sharing. And a big shout out to all our members. We've had lots of members joining recently. That is probably the best way to support the channel, is becoming a member of the Spopes Army. Please do join today. You can also support me by picking up some merch at my Fourth Wall site, leaving a donation there, or leaving a donation here on YouTube. All right, now as always, we're going to finish up with a prayer to my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Lord, thank you for all the visual beauty in the world that is not limited to the physical world. In this digital world of video games, human beings have also made incredible beauty through your divine inspiration and grace. Thank you for all the cosmetic beauty in the Elder Scrolls Online. Thank you for all the developers who you use as a channel to create this beauty. I ask that you inspire players of the game to focus on the beauty of it, to see it as a reflection of your glory. And Lord, I thank you for my channel and all my subscribers. Thank you for making my channel grow. Please continue to help it grow. I give all glory to you for my channel and for the video today. Lord, please be with my community. Please bless them in all ways. And Lord, please do shepherd all recently departed souls across the world to your side. Lord, in your mercy, hear our prayer. All right, that's going to do it for the video, guys. I hope you have fun getting Ebon Leather Black if you haven't already gotten it. I hope it scratches that aesthetic itch you may have for a truly black dye in the game. I really hope the video was helpful. And if so, please remember to like, hype, and subscribe. And when you do subscribe, turn on notifications, because I'll be back soon with new content.